You're watching RT coming to you live from Moscow. I'm Marina Jashin. Welcome to the program. 64 years ago, Nazi Germany was defeated in the Second World War, bringing an end to a devastating period of fighting known in Russia as the Great Patriotic War. The war took the lives of at least 27 million Soviet people. To mark their sacrifice, memorial ceremonies and Victory Day celebrations are being held throughout the country. In Moscow, the festivities are climaxing with a fireworks show over the city. And RT's Ann Smith is at Sparrow Hills to get a good view of capital skyline and joins us now live. Hello to you, Ann. I bet you're very excited. Well, we definitely are here. Now, the fireworks look amazing. So what is it like to see it live?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. All I can say is that we're hearing lots of oohs and ahs from the crowd. The fireworks, just in time, in fact, they've just kicked off here on Sparrow Hills. We've been seeing them taking place around other parts of Moscow from this very high up vantage point. It's one of the highest points in and around Moscow city centre. And we've been hearing the oohs and ahs as they kicked off here just about a minute ago. So well done in joining us just at the right time. Now, around us, basically people are oohing and ahhing, as I say, but you can feel that the rumble and the thunder of the fireworks as they take off from about 100 metres away from where I'm standing. Now these fireworks are hitting and rushing up into the air about 100 metres to 300 metres in the air, so they can't be seen right across the city, which is good news for the many millions of Muscovite inhabitants and the many people who've come into Moscow on this very important day. Obviously it's Victory Day, and so many people have come in from across the Moscow region, so the population in Moscow right now has swelled, and I can tell you they have really taken to the streets to see the red, the blues and the whites of the fireworks, obviously to symbolise the Russian flag, and truly spectacular scenes here. Now, obviously, it's a very important day, as I've said. Now, we've seen many people come to some of these vantage points where we are in Sparrow Hills. As I say, it's a very high up point. We've seen around about, I'd hazard a guess, at around 500,000 people here standing alone. Then you've got people pouring into streets. You've got people at the other vantage points to see what is a truly spectacular show, because at each vantage point there are around about a dozen or more vantage points around the city. There are about 4,000 fireworks that go off at each location. So it goes on for some time at each point and then moves around the city. So if you're smack bang in the city centre, you can see these from everywhere around. A truly fantastic event. And now this is actually the first time, or one of the first times, that these fireworks have been set off by a computer. Very high tech indeed, but it's considered a bit of a rehearsal for next year's Victory Day fireworks, which are going to be a very big deal indeed, because it will be 65 years since the end of the Great Patriotic War, in 1945. So an amazing event, and when we were waiting for these fireworks to kick off, there were many thousands still streaming in, still hoping to kind of get here just on time. And we've seen people lying around, lolling around, enjoying just the last throes of summer sunshine here on their rollerblades, on their bikes, even on horseback, people flying kites. A truly carnival atmosphere, a very nice climax to a very beautiful day indeed. Of course, a very significant, very important day, and certainly going off with a real bang.
All right, well, Ann, indeed, the show is spectacular. With the pictures that we can see right now are absolutely amazing and incredible. Well, and as you just said, it's an emotional day for a lot of people, and I had a chance today to walk around the city center. There were a lot of people there gathering. So how has Victory Day gone overall?
Well, overall, it's been a very beautiful day. I mean, right now it's a little bit chilly because there were very few clouds in the sky, and that's largely due to the fact that a lot of the weather clouds, the bad weather clouds that we didn't want to see, have been seeded away courtesy of some very clever technology and clever planes. Now, the actual Victory Day parade, the main event, which obviously is very important to mark respect and remembrance to the many war dead and those many heroes and heroines from the Red Army who are still alive to this day, to remember their part in securing liberty and cracking and beating fascism and bringing about the end of the Great Patriotic War in 1945. A stupendous event, and for that, to see more, now let's see my report from earlier.
It's 64 years since the end of Russia's Great Patriotic War. May the 9th is the day when the Nazis capitulated to the Red Army. VE Day is also known as the holiday with tears in the eyes. The Soviets lost almost 27 million people from 1941 to 1945. Millions more were maimed. For this octogenarian war veteran, the horror, the death, it's as if it was yesterday. Alexandra was young, just a student, when she signed up to fight.
I went to Stalingrad to study, and then the blockade of the city began. Rather than study, I fought with the Red Army. I was badly injured there.
Commemorating those heroes and heroines who died in the war and those who are still alive today. Whether from Moscow or across the nation, the journey here to remember those who fell is hard. But for those who played their role in the war, like Victor here, every Victory Day is more exhilarating.
I remember May 9th, 1945. On Red Square they were letting off fireworks. There were searchlights everywhere. We were tossing everything in the air. It was such a joy. That was victory. Can you imagine? We've been waiting for it for 4.5 years.
The parade grows in size every year. 2009 is like no other. The largest seen since the fall of the Soviet Union. 9,000 military personnel paraded through Red Square. Russia's president and commander-in-chief watched on, flanked by Prime Minister Vladimir Putin and other officials, as Russia's military might moved past them. In the sky, no clouds, but dozens of planes and helicopters. With the temperature reaching 22 degrees, it was clear that nothing was going to rain on this parade. The crowd of youngsters, couples, families was huge. Waving the national flag and wearing their St. George's ribbons in any fashion they chose, they shared their thoughts on the event and those who lost their lives so that they would be free from Nazi tyranny.
The planes were so cool.
This parade is very special. It's considerable, sizable and rich in performances. We've revived and now renewed our armaments, and that's great, I believe.
All right, Anne, thanks very much indeed for bringing us this background and, of course, the flavor of what's going on right now in the city center. It's a spectacular fireworks show there and a great end of a great day. Thanks very much indeed. That was Anne Smith reporting for us there. And you're watching RT Live from Moscow. And if you want to see the whole Victory Day parade in Red Square, of course, log on to our website, which is rt.tv. And also in Moscow, more than 1,000 young Victory Day supporters gathered for a literal show of thanks. Laying on the ground with around 150 to a letter, they spelled out the word "spasibo," which means thank you in Russian, using a remote control helicopter to film the event. And elsewhere in the city, crowds released red balloons to commemorate Russia's victory over Nazism.